best, number one and nothing less. Lead me to my death. I was built to be the best, number one and nothing less. Lead me to my destiny. I have waited patiently. I have vision, oh I believe. I know I can count on me. So stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up, stand up, stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up, stand up, stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up. Here we go, it's getting close. Now it's just who wants it most. It's just life, that's how it is. 'Cause we have our strengths and weaknesses. Oh, I have vision, oh, can't you see? I'm on the move, make way for me. So stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up, stand up, stand up.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us on a fresh edition of what I'll call, well, we did this before now, but of course it's back again on your screen. It's Fair Play, and Fair Play is coming to you from NTA Channel 12, Uyo. On Fair Play, we'll bring you everything sports. Rest assured, everything sports. Whatever you were part of, whatever you missed, rest assured we're going to bring them to your screen. And I'm not just going to be doing this alone. I have my co-presenter in the studio to do this with me. But before I bring him, my name is Dianime Uko. Good afternoon. Good to have you join us on this program. Fair Play, John Paul Adumona.
Good afternoon, viewers. Good afternoon, colleague.
All right, so before we get started, I'm just going to do a brief rundown of what you should be expecting on your screen this afternoon. We will take you through what we had over the weekend in the CAF Champions League. We had two of our home teams, of course, feature in that particular tournament. And one did well, the other one fell by the wayside. We're going to bring you up to speed with that. Secondly, of course, the Premier League, the English Premier League, and of course, other leagues across the world had commenced, some last weekend, some about 2 weeks ago. So we're also going to bring you up to speed with what did happen over the weekend in the English Premier League and of course in the La Liga. So John Paul.
Yes, Janime, in the English Premier League this weekend, that was on Saturday and Sunday, we had Bournemouth playing a 1-1 draw with Newcastle United. Wolves played lost 2-6 to Chelsea. Liverpool defeated Brentford 2-0. Brighton and Hove Albion defeated Manchester United 2-1. Crystal Palace 0, West Ham 2. Fulham 2, Leicester City 1. Manchester City 4, Ipswich Town 1. Southampton lost 0-1 to Nottingham Forest. Tottenham Hotspur defeated Everton 4-0, while Aston Villa lost at home to almighty Arsenal.
Okay, before we move away from the English Premier League, we had some games we had expected, and we saw some, of course, some upsets, what I call some upsets. That was Manchester United, first of all, losing to Brighton and Hove Albion. I'm sure you weren't expecting Brighton to defeat Manchester United, but that did happen.
Yes, especially, in football, home advantage always plays a significant role. But Manchester United being a big fish as far as the EPL is concerned, I expected them to at least get a draw. But unfortunately, they lost. Well,
they brought in some new players during the transfer window. In their first game, they had a Zegzi from Netherlands score that only goal for them to give them the first 3 points. But of course, we had expected that the second
victory
match,
continued.
The victory would continue, but they could not keep up Brighton and Hove Albion shooting from all cylinders. We had some of their fine players, of course, which they had towards the end of last season gotten injured. Talking about a player like Mitoma, who is very integral in that team, predominant in that team. Of course, he played a huge role to having Brighton and Hove Albion win. Then we had some other, of course, results we expected. Arsenal away to Aston Villa. We saw that game last season. Aston Villa defeated Arsenal in what was against the run of play, because at that time Arsenal was, of course, gunning seriously for the Premier League that last season. So they lost that particular one, and I'm sure they corrected their mistakes and they came back winning, this time at Villa Park.
Yes, that's what they call going back to the drawing board. In football, you go back and prepare and get a better result. And that 3 points is actually crucial in this beginning of the season.
We also saw Liverpool did do well. They started the first game against Ipswich, and of course they came. It's been 6 points in 2 games for Liverpool. Yes. A new coach. We've not seen much of new players, but it looks like they have a blend already.
Of course, with
what they had last season with Jurgen Klopp doing what.
How best.
Of course, handing over to the new coach, Chelsea. Chelsea lost their first match, but over the weekend we saw them firing from all cylinders.
And it was 6.
Nicholas Jackson, that's one man who's been in the eye of the storm.
Sure.
For, of course, some matches now for Chelsea. He showed up, he scored a goal, and of course we had some new players. It's even a little difficult to know who will play for Chelsea these days, but of course we see them turn up.
It's a good thing, and as traditional as it is, Chelsea players, Chelsea fans making noise and then disturbing everybody because of that 6-2 victory. It's a good one for them. I must commend them. And I hope, the league is still starting. I hope they will continue and maintain the momentum.
Everton lost by 4-0. Yes, away at the away to Tottenham Hotspur. Tottenham Hotspur were home, and of course, they did what sometimes they do, other times they fail to do, defeating Everton. Everton survived last season to stay in the English Premier League by the whiskers. And it was towards the end of last season we saw players like Onana and the rest of Doucouré doing what they could do to salvage Everton. But yesterday they fell like a pack of cards to Tottenham Hotspur.
That's football for you. In football, but in EPL actually, Everton, Tottenham, they are among the big 6 in EPL, and then losing 4-0 is actually shameful, if I want to put it that way.
Okay, so at this point, let's move to
the CAF Champions League.
No, before the CAF Champions League, okay. The La Liga.
Okay, yes,
the Spanish league.
La Liga.
And of course, we did see some games also go down over the weekend. The first one that is very interesting is Real Madrid. In their first match, of course, they did that very big signing, bringing no other person but Kylian Mbappe into the team. We could not help them in their first match. It was a 1-1 draw. The second match, which was this past weekend, saw Real Madrid play against a team like Valladolid, an average side. Mm-hmm. And of course, they defeated Valladolid by 3-0.
It's a good one for them, apart from EPL, in the Spanish La Liga and even Serie A, you can easily predict results.
Well, and they have a good number of Spaniards. These are guys who did well in the just concluded Euros. And of course, they had form. Fortunately for them, none of their players are injured at the moment. Sure. So we had expected that even in their first match that they would do well. Unfortunately, they're still blending. It's a new season.
Yes,
so they had that 3-0 win against Valladolid. We also had Barcelona up against Atletico Club, and they defeated Atletico by 2-1. Now, we have some young stars in Barcelona. They're all back. Yes, I know a couple of injuries some players sustained during the Euros, but they had their Lamine Yamal in the team. And there is just one other player, and that is Nico Williams, the young boy from Athletic Club, who Barcelona are trying to get into their fold. So far, they've not been able to get that young man. He's still playing for Atletico Club, and he played that game. He did his best, but it was not good enough. Barcelona still won.
Yes, he's actually to rekindle the Barca interest in him, and I believe he didn't play badly. What a fight to
All right, for let's look at other results. It was Leganes 2, Las Palmas 1. Alaves and Real Betis played a goalless draw. Atletico Madrid did defeat Girona. That was another very big game. We saw Girona play last season. They played like they wanted to win the La Liga. They played it their way, even into the continental game. But again, yesterday they just could not do it over Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid still had their home advantage. They have all of their players intact, and they defeated Girona by 3-0.
Yes, in football we say it was not Girona's day, it was Atletico's day.
Okay, so we had Celta Vigo 3, Valencia 1. Sevilla starting very badly. They lost at home at the Sanchez Pizjuan Stadium, 1-2 against Villarreal, the Yellow Submarine. We had Osasuna 1, Mallorca 0.
And that of Sevilla, we have two Nigerians there, the senior man.
Currently,
yes.
Kelechi Iheanacho.
And the Ejike Chidera, Ejuke. Unfortunately,
they could not help the team.
Yes.
Okay, so we're looking forward to how things play out for these Nigerians who are now plying their trade in Spain for Sevilla. And for other games, it was Getafe 0, Rayo Vallecano 0. Then we had talked about Real Madrid defeating Valladolid by 3-0. So that's it from Europe that we can bring up to you. I mean, you at this point. We're looking forward to seeing how the subsequent games go. Of course, it's a new season like we had already established. We're looking forward to seeing our players very importantly. In Nigeria, we'll now be playing for the AFCON qualifiers and the World Cup qualifiers. So let's see how our players will be doing. Let's not forget, Leicester City played. That was in the English Premier League. And we had our own Wilfred Ndidi play in that particular one. So we'll be looking out for our players across the globe and how they're faring. Let's also not forget that our own standing captain at the moment, William Troost Ekong, has moved to Saudi Arabia.
For the big money.
Of course, let's see how things will turn out in Saudi Arabia for him. We will all wish him the very best. He's going for the money. He's going to play. Let's see which will work for him.
Sure. The money is very important. And then just to add, if our players in their various clubs, if they do well, it will automatically translate to us having a good national performance. The reverse is also the case for us. So hopefully with this AFCON qualifier, the one coming on September 7 and subsequent ones, I believe they will be in good form to deliver. Remember, we don't also have a coach at the team.
we have a standing or an interim.
No, he's the technical director of the NFF, and he's standing in as a coach since Finiti left.
Okay, and just because nature abhors vacuum.
Yes,
all right,
yes.
So we just had to bring in, not me, because I'm not involved.
no, you're a Nigerian. So that is it. So, and then we also heard that maybe in 2 or 3 days to come, he will unveil 23-man squad that will face Benin and other players, other teams in the AFCON qualifiers.
So the concern now for Nigerians will be how will the Nigerian team, the Super Eagles, fare without a coach? Well, I'm sure
it's a terrible situation,
but as good as mine.
Yes, that is it. It's actually a big concern to most football fans and also stakeholders, because a Nigerian team, Super Eagles, that is known as one of the giants of Africa, as were referred to. Almost, I think we are quite in the third position in the qualifying series for World Cup. Then we are starting AFCON without a coach. So let's see how the magic will go. Well, and we'll give our fans the updates and our viewers updates.
Do you also think that could affect our outing? When I mean what I say,
the Nigerian outing.
That's the outing of
the
Super Eagles. And back to our teams in the NPFL. We have 2 representatives currently playing in the CAF Champions League. Oh, well, should I say currently, because one is already out, and that's Remo Stars.
They are out.
And of course,
they will be dropping down to the
CAF Confederation.
Cup.
Then we also had
Academy Warriors in the CAF Confederation.
In the CAF Confederation, and Enugu Rangers. They played in Uyo, both home and away, and
which was a good one for them. And unfortunately, looking at playing a home game and away game at the same venue in your own, technically in your own area, and not scoring many goals. They just managed first in the first match. It was a 1-0 win. Because they were playing at home, away in the first game. Then the day they played.
So what's the difference?
No, that's the schedule by CAF now. Then the day that they are now playing at home, they couldn't win. That was the day they drew
played
1-1. But the good news is that they are still in contention for the CAF Champions League. You know, it would have been a shameful thing for two Nigerian representatives in the CAF Champions League to crash out at the same time. It would have been bad.
Well, what hopes lie ahead for the Nigerian sides? El Kanemi Warriors at the moment and Enugu Rangers as things progress. We'll keep our fingers crossed, and of course we'll bring you up to date as things unfold. At the moment, we will take a quick break. When we return, we will have a guest in the studio who will be doing justice to the Paris Olympics. I'm sure Nigerians are still very unhappy about how things turned out in that particular Olympics. We had expected that our contingent were going to come back with medals. Unfortunately, they went, they saw, they came back.
They didn't
So we will take a quick break. When we return, we'll have our guest. At that point, we will tell you his name, who he is, and of course, he will do justice to the conversation. Please stay with us.
Lead me to my destiny. I have waited patiently. I have vision, though I believe. I know I can count on me. So stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up, stand up, stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up for the champions. Just who wants it most. It's just life, that's how it is. 'Cause we have our strengths and weaknesses. Oh, I have vision, oh, can't you see? I'm on the move, make way for me. So stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up, stand up, stand up.
You're welcome back from that short break. It's still Fair Play on NTA Channel 12, Uyo. And like I did tell you before we went on that break, we went to Paris, we saw, we enjoyed the ambience, we came back with nothing. And to do justice to this conversation, after the fiesta, we went to the streets of Uyo, and of course Nigerians reacted. We're going to bring up that report so you get to, of course, share in the moment. And after that, I will bring up our guest in the studio who will, of course, tell you things that happened behind the scene and, of course, what we should have done. And then going forward, what we should be expecting.
Sports lovers in Nigeria, like their counterparts the world over, were expectant for medals when the opening ceremony of the 2024 Paris Olympics was held in Paris, France, on the 26th of July, and the game lasted for 17 days. Unfortunately, Nigerian athletes who competed in various games, including Super Falcons and the Tigers teams, as well as other athletes, failed to make the podium finish till 11th of August when the game ended.
That's a very unfortunate situation. You see people who has nothing to do with sports manning the sports sector.
Although the Nigerian female basketball team, the Tigers, made a mark by being the first African team, male or female, to reach the quarterfinals of basketball event in the Olympics before bowing out to the eventual champions, the United States basketball team. Despite this performance, Nigerians say the general outing of Team Nigeria in Paris Olympics is disgraceful.
The morale is low. So even the people that went there, they may not have been treated the way they were supposed to have been treated. So their morals were not high enough to achieve what they were to have achieved.
The amount actually felt so bad. This is not like Nigeria. Sometimes we will not come with gold, but we will come back with at least a bronze medal or silver medal.
They, however, suggested a way forward to ensure a better outing in Los Angeles in 2028 and 2032 editions.
We should start early if we want to win medals. For instance, in this Akwa Ibom State, what are we doing to promote grassroots sports? Do we have school sports? Do we have age group sports? We don't have. We looked around, we didn't see people from this part. Can't we raise people who can do 100 meters, 200 meters relay?
We should look back and know where we are getting it wrong. What are we not doing well? Like in those days, I was young when I watched Atlanta 96, but then you see that since after that, Nigeria has been something. It's like something is happening to us.
Nigeria, we really need an overhaul of everything, every sector, every situation in Nigeria.
Nigerians are hoping that the sports ministry will put square pegs in square holes in the management of Nigerian Olympic Committee and other similar bodies in charge of athletes to ensure a better outing.
All right, so that's from Nigerians. You heard Nigerians react to how things went at the Paris Olympics. Now, to do justice to this conversation, we have in the studio Kamaik Ukpabio. He is a former Akwa Ibom FA secretary and former goalkeeper Calabar Rovers. Thank you so much and welcome to the program.
It's my pleasure. Great pleasure to be here.
Okay, so let's just get this conversation started. You watched the reactions of Nigerians following our outing at the Paris Olympic. What's your first impression about what did go down in Paris?
I have to start this way. I won't disappoint myself if I say we refuse to identify our areas of strength. We should not go for every event. Even at the National Sport Festival in states like Delta, they parade every athletes in every event. Nigeria should not follow US, should not follow France, because we don't have the facilities. Identify our areas of strength. Go with 1 or 2 athletes you know you can win with. Not going with a litany of people and at the end you come back not even with a cowrie, which is very disappointing.
We had 84. We went with 84 athletes to the Paris Olympics.
Yes, and spent about 12 billion.
Yes, and we spent about 12 billion naira. And of course we came back with nothing.
And possibly football was part of that.
Yeah, sure.
You are spending the nation's money, people's money, on possibly 36 players and officials running after just a medal. Let's identify our areas of. I've been saying Akwa Ibom is a coastal state. We need swimmers. We have good swimmers. Harvest them and harness them. Go to areas where we have strength, weightlifting, that used to give us medal. Go there, even if there are 2 athletes. This other man in Bayelsa State is doing wonderfully well.
Igali.
Preparation. He prepared ahead of time. Unfortunately, he could not win anything. But all the same, I think Nigeria, we don't start our preparations early. We like the fire brigade approach. A week to competition, you see athletes being assembled. You assemble them to do what? Where are the facilities? Like as of today, some days to come, Nigeria will be playing for a position in either what do you call it? AFCON.
The AFCON.
And yet we don't have a coach. You don't have a coach, and unfortunately our coaches, I don't know if it's frustration or that is pushing them to accept this horrid job, or desperation. Is it out of desperation that accept a job that you should do for 2 years, you accept to do a job for 1 week, like this man Finidi George, who accepted that job, as at the day of the game his players were still coming in. What are you expecting?
But even though we are not discussing that,
we are not discussing that.
But you know, in the case of Finidi was there as an assistant coach for 2 years also.
I'm not talking assistant coach.
He was not coming in as a fresher.
A fresher. Okay, so Nigeria, if we want to make headway, we've been inching closer to getting something before now. Let us start preparation early. Countries that have finished the event had started preparations. They had started for
4 years earlier.
for the next edition. Like in the National Sport Festival, you'd get states like Delta had started their preparation ahead. We want to do it on the nick of time, and we expect result. Nothing can be, it cannot be possible.
Okay, now going forward, because we all know most of the issues. So going forward, what do you think we should do, to get it right in 2028?
We should start early preparations. Identify talents early and harness them. Like most states, everybody is looking for ready-made. Like I read on papers that athletes that competed for some countries have changed allegiance to other countries. They are looking for, those countries are looking for
better treatment and all that.
Yes.
Welfare and all that.
Why can't we apply it here? God has so blessed Nigeria abundantly, and we need to extend the blessings to our athletes.
Okay, so there is the Paralympics coming up in a couple of days, and unlike the Olympics where we went with 84 athletes, we will be fielding 24 athletes this time. Can we get something from the Paralympics?
Of course, that is a team, that is a group that has been making Nigeria proud. Agreed, they won't amass so much medal, but they will win. As far as I know, as far as I've been seeing them, they will win. They had started preparation long. So with a good welfare package, a good whatever, they will surely come back with.
But now, now what can you say is that really difference? Now the able-bodied men, so to say, always fail to perform. But when it comes to Paralympians, we see those, like for instance now 24 athletes will be competing across 4 sports, and surely they will come home with something. And you are even sounding with all.
They will.
So what's the difference?
The difference is the able-bodied. We blow them out of proportion, and their performance, like when we were talking about Tobi Amosu, nobody gave her a chance that she will not come back with a medal.
Sure.
So we orchestrate.
As a world record holder, it's expected now.
So nobody gave. Unfortunately, it's a reflection of our system. It's a reflection of our system. Like the sporting system in Nigeria, I want to go to football now. Let me start with that because that's my area. Well, I said in the year 2015 that Nigeria should do a restitution for those Nigeria has stepped on toes. We should go back, apologize to them, let them bless Nigeria. Whatever they had placed as cause on Nigeria should be lifted. That did not come through. Shoaibu Amudu, Vincent Enyama. Now we are going to Victor Osimhen. A coach will come and want to retire somebody out of annoyance. What did they matter when these actions were taken? So as we are going forward, let us change the system entirely. The entire system should be changed for people who know, because most 87% of people in our thought who are superintending over our sports by experience and training are not actually really qualified to lead. They don't have what it takes to lead, and that's why the result is always on the negative side.
Okay, so to wrap up this conversation, it was not entirely gloomy for us in the Olympics. We had the D Tigress who did well.
Exactly.
At this point, as your parting shot, what will you say was the difference between the D Tigress and the other?
They were so determined. It was not the pay package that propelled them. It was determination that propelled them, and possibly the coach, who is highly qualified with experience, was able to impart that confidence into them. That's why they had to rise to the occasion and did what they did.
All right, thank you so much. It's been a wonderful time coming to share your thoughts on what did happen in the Paris Olympics. Thank you so much, Mr. Kamaik Ukpabio, former Akwa Ibom FA secretary and former goalkeeper, Calabar Rovers, for coming on the program.
You are blessed.
And of course, John Paul.
Yes, thank you very much, Danny May. It's been a wonderful time having Carmichael Babio on the program, and we hope same time, same station next week we'll have our viewers glued to their TV to listen and watch us. Thank you.
And thank you so much. And it's just to say from here, goodbye until next Monday. Have a great afternoon.
On me, so stand up for the chance.